Yeah, the shows were awesome, man.
But we'll get into that a little bit in a
Cool.
second. But first of all, I do want to take a second to throw a little bit of acknowledgement your way because you're a very important guy on the scene, especially to the Impact locker room, and it's been amazing seeing you come back to Impact and working with these guys again. So we all kind of know the story of your career, but you're here now and you've brought a handful of the guys that we wanted to see come back. You brought them with you, or they came back at the same time as you. And I really just wanted to quickly, before we get into this, ask you a little bit about how you came back to Impact, who reached out to you, and
There was a mass firing from WWE when COVID hit and the world was kind of not people didn't know what was going to go on. I didn't know what was going to happen next, and I've always said I've been very honest about it. I was caught completely off guard by the whole thing because I had just signed a new long-term contract, and I just thought like we don't know what COVID is. There's no way they're just going to start letting people go and let us hang out there to die. And then we did, and I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. So I wasn't even thinking about leaving WWE anytime soon. So it was a complete shock to me. But that first week of my free agency, my wrestling dad, Tommy Dreamer, called me up and gave me the Impact Wrestling pitch. And then even then, I knew that I had already known Scott and had a good relationship with him, and I knew my best friends, Gallows, Anderson, Heath, all these guys
yeah,
were going too. Eric Young. So it seemed like an awesome opportunity, and little did I know it was going to be an incredible opportunity, a life-changing opportunity.
it's been fantastic having you back, and it's great having you in Impact. And like you say, Eric Young coming back at the same time, Heath coming over, the Good Brothers coming over at the time. It was just great to see you all come back, and we had this rejuvenated locker room as well with just some absolutely awesome talent. But one of the things that a lot of people wrestlers do, including your best friend, your podcast host, and your life mate Matt Cardona, likes to run around and just play in everybody's sandpit. But what made you want to settle in and make Impact your home, as in the roots?
Yeah, so of course, I would have done something like what Matt was doing, or is doing currently, and doing it very successfully. But Impact it just felt like home, and I mean, like instantly. There was a lot of familiar faces there. There was new people that I met that I really hit it off with, and and I'm not just saying it because we're doing this interview right now. It's the best wrestling promotion I've ever worked for. It just feels like a legit family and fun, and to me, that's like we all of us that are lucky enough to participate in pro wrestling, it's not a regular job, right? So if it's not fun, I feel like you shouldn't be doing it in the first place, right? You can go work anywhere and not have fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a privilege to be a pro wrestler, and you should be having some fun. And at Impact, that's where I have the most fun, and I get to be me and the best version of myself. You know what I mean? I get the reins are off. It's not complete chaos where we the wrestlers don't run the place,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a give and take and an agreement. And I think that's how pro wrestling works the best.
And talking about the best you, the best version of you, the place you have the most fun, the UK tour. Now, I got to see you in Newcastle, and that was a very rowdy crowd. We were giving you quite a bit of heat, to be fair, with the regular chants, the predictable ones of Edge's bitch and
Mm-hmm.
Myers as a I'll not say that last word, but it begins with a W. How does the UK Impact fan base compare to sort of the US Impact fan base?
I think they're just a little bit more appreciative is a kind way to put it. We're not there every other weekend or once a month even. So they know when they're seeing the event that it's something that they're going to have to wait a long time in between the next one. And they're very appreciative of that. And they're there to have a good time, which is all, as performers, that's all we can ask of. You know what I mean? Whether you're booing, cheering, whatever, just make noise and have a good time. And the show's going to be better, I promise you. So I had just such a blast on that tour, and every night the crowds were so great, and they made it. They made the shows. They literally made the shows. The wrestling didn't even matter after that.
Well, it did to us. It did to us, and you guys being there mattered to us. And you were massively over. Like it's probably a hard job to come in, and everybody's chanting for Kazarian and everything like that, and we all love Kazarian, and you're playing that de facto kind of heel role kind of thing. But it must be hard to do that, but the applause you get and the love you got from us, like it must be a great feeling. But we were happy to have you here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, that first night in Glasgow, I think I was like the third or fourth match, and I guess the fans were a little too appreciative of everybody, where there was no real defined good guy and bad guy.
Yeah.
And right before my music hit, Scott was like, "God damn it, will somebody get some heat out there?" And I said, "Oh, you don't gotta ask me twice, man. I love that shit." So I went all in for it. Like, I mean, you give it to me, I'll give it right back. It's gonna be an awesome experience. So it wound up being great.
And you tagged with Moose that night, and it was great to see you and Moose tagging together, and I absolutely loved that matchup with you guys. Is this potentially a tag team you guys want to keep moving forward with? You've had a couple of matches now, or
Yeah, man. I always say the most professional wrestling gods, we're not a team. We're two top guys working as
yeah,
one. So basically, the tag division is ours for the taking anytime we want to. Moose has the briefcase right now.
mm-hmm.
So obviously he's focused on that, and I'm there to support him in that. But I mean, we could do whatever we want with the tag division when we choose to.
Yeah, and I hope you do. I hope you just run roughshod on that. But one thing I like to find out from you US wrestlers who come over to us is, did you try any of our British delicacies while you were here?
As far as what, I get so frustrated because I don't know what anything is, or like I'm like
Well,
I'm like
you were up in Glasgow, so like a deep fried Mars bar up there. You try one of them?
no. I mean, I get too frustrated. I'm like navigating Uber Eats every day and trying to figure out what I want, but I just don't want like I don't want any surprises. You know what I mean? I just want
Yeah.
a basic, but like I'm not here to try anything. I'm not on a vacation. I'm at work. I don't want like any kind of weird things to try for the first time. I just want to just give me regular eggs and bacon, and I'm good.
Well, one of the things that you guys did try while you were over here was some of our homegrown talent, and Impact snapped up a couple of guys, including the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, who is an absolute just he's a superstar in the making. I wondered, did you get a chance to see his matches, and what do you make of them?
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of his stuff on the tour. That was the first I'd ever seen him. And prior to that, I'd seen the graphics and stuff, and I said, "Who is this guy?" And someone smarted me up and said, "Oh, all I know is he does a Swanton 450." And then I just like sat there dumbfounded. I was like, I'm trying to picture it in my head. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. I can't even. That doesn't make any sense. I can't picture this. They're like, no, he does a Swanton 450. I'm like, that can't be true. Then I watched the monitor and I watched him do it on the first night, and even though I saw it with my own eyes, I still don't understand or quite comprehend what I saw. So he's a pretty special talent. I'm sure he'll be a exceptional addition to the X division. And also, I should shout out Subculture. It was really
Yeah,
a pleasure to work with them again, and they're really good, and they definitely have their routine down. I should say, they know who they are and what they're doing, and they're really great performers.
absolutely, absolutely. So the big news is obviously we've got the final resolution coming up, but then in January the 14th we're going to Hard to Kill in Vegas, I believe it is. Yeah, it's
Yep.
Vegas, and we're going back to our God-given name. We are going back to TNA. What was it like coming down to the ring in Newcastle, Glasgow, Coventry, and everywhere else you've been since the announcement, and getting those TNA chants constantly? Like, what was that feeling like to yourself and the locker room?
Really, really cool. I mean, they haven't stopped. It's really cool just to be behind the curtain and just hear the excitement behind that chant. I mean, the people are furiously chanting it and
Yeah,
very proudly chanting it. So I think it was a decision the company made that, maybe they were 75% sure this is the right decision, and then to see the feedback, and then it's like, oh my god, this is 110% the right decision. It's a really exciting time. The buzz that's in the air about it and the possibilities of things to come is really exciting. And this brand has been so good for so long with not enough eyes on it that I'm really excited to be a part of this new chapter here.
what do you think it is about this locker room that people are so accepting to go back to the TNA, and we all of a sudden we feel like we're allowed to chant it again as fans? Because it was one of those things. I saw an interview with Scott Demore, and he was saying that people have always wanted to chant it, but they just weren't out of respect. But now we absolutely can. And what is it about this locker room that means we can, and means we can go forward with this?
Well, I think a big thing is the nostalgia of it. Impact's over 20 years old now, TNA wrestling,
Mm.
and there's history there, and there's a rich history that just can't be ignored, right? And for whatever reason, and I don't have the answer to it, the Impact name has never really stuck. I mean, I explained this to somebody recently. Like once a week, if I meet like a stranger or something, and they'll say, "Oh, where do you wrestle now?" I say, "I wrestle for Impact Wrestling," and then they'll stare at me, and then I go, "It used to be called TNA Wrestling." They go, "Oh, I know what you're talking about." So for whatever reason, and I literally don't have the answer. It just hasn't stuck over the years, even though the actual product itself has been fantastic and there's something really special that if you watch it, and I don't need to tell you that. But now I feel like it's a new era, and I think another part of it was there at one certain point the company didn't want it because there was that LOL TNA stink of it, which
Mm.
is seemingly worn off too. So
Oh,
it's
definitely.
all for the better. It's nothing but positive vibes going on, and I'm really excited to be a part of it.
I mean, I've got friends that are like strictly sort of like WWE fans or AEW fans. We're going to stick to the big boys, and as of the last year, 2 years, I've felt really confident as a fan, saying, "Look, you've got to watch it because it's wrestling. It's actual wrestling again. It's like TNA Impact. See, I'm saying it now, but Impact is the show for me to watch every week. I barely catch the other two, to be honest."
I just think it has a little bit of something for everybody,
I
and that's the difference.
And what kind of plans does Brian Myers have going forward? What's your hopes for 2024 and onwards for yourself?
Honestly, I'm just so excited for where this company is headed and to be a part of it and to be part of that Vegas show. I mean, I have all my eyes completely set on that and how electric the crowd's gonna be that night to chant
Mm.
TNA and have all the new rebranding and see what the new ring looks like and the logos everywhere and potentially the new faces that could be a part of that show. So it's real exciting. As far as me in the career in ring career, obviously, I just want to be the guy you remember when you walk out of that building every night. After you've seen the show, I want to be the performer that caught your eye, whether I'm a champion or on the first match. I don't give a shit. I just go out there. I give 110 every time. I've done it for 20 years now, and I just love wrestling and I love being a part of it. And I really love and appreciate being a part of TNA wrestling.
And it's one of the things we've always loved about you as fans and the Brian Myers character. And we love the fact that you will go out and you will, whether you're first on the card or last on the card, you go out and you put in a performance every single time, even when you're not necessarily being booked the way you should be. If not to dive into that, but on that, I do want to ask before we leave out because we'll wrap this up in a minute. But could you name two or three people on the TNA roster that you can't wait to mix it up with that you haven't already?
And I haven't. That's tough because I've been there for this
Yeah,
will be going into 3.5 years now.
your
Who do I
short list.
not wrestle that I think?
Or
Ah,
even people you have wrestled but you're dying to get back in the ring with them.
I mean, I love doing anything with Eddie Edwards because I think he's so talented and he's incredible. I've really enjoyed working Kazarian the handful of times that we've got to do stuff. I mean, it's almost like we've been doing it for years. We're just very in sync with each other. It's been a blast. And honestly, I've really loved tagging with Moose because I think it's, every time we go out there, it's just like repetitions. We get another rep, we get better and better, just like anything else. And I like the dynamic that we have, like not that I'm a little man, but he's certainly a big man, so we do have that big guy, little guy thing going on. And that's been a really fun thing to be a part of and like see it grow. So obviously me and Moose tag champions 2024 is a layup.
Tag Champions 2024 and Hard to Kill. Last moments, he's holding the belt. You run down, knock him out. There we go. It's written in the stars.
I think if anything, I'll be down there celebrating with him because I helped him win it. But
I hope
we'll
so. I
see.
hope so. I can't wait to see it. I'm really looking forward to Hard to Kill. Final Resolution as well is coming up soon. But most importantly, we're finally going back to that TNA, Brandon. And Brian, thank you so much for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Even more of a pleasure seeing you live, especially in my. It's not my hometown, but it's only half an hour away. So it was cool as hell to be there and to chant that chant. Awesome. But thank you so much.
Thanks. Appreciate being so supportive, man. Appreciate it.